With me now to discuss is Richard Berthelsen, CTV's royal commentator. Richard, good morning. Nice to see you. So we are now a week away. Tell us more about the preparations that are happening this whole week coming up.
Well, I mean, we've had announcements almost every single day this past week about different elements of the coronation. And I think we're anticipating over this weekend, we're going to see the order of service, which is really the key document that I've been waiting for to see how they're going to take what has been a 3-hour ceremony steeped in the language of the Dark Ages or the early Middle Ages into the modern era. And that is going to be a really, really key aspect of this ceremony looking forward. We're going to start to see other announcements made, I think, around dress, the final guest list of world leaders, as well as people from around the Commonwealth that it will attend, not the least of which is we haven't really heard the final word on the Canadian delegation. And we're also going to see, I think, a clear idea about what people are going to be wearing, because this is not going to be a coronation like 1953 with ermine-edged gowns and coronets. It's going to be considerably different. So there's a lot yet to come. And of course, the coronation fever is building in London. And I think interest is gathering as we get closer to the date.
And when you talk about dress, what do you think people would dress as though they were perhaps going to a wedding or an afternoon garden party, if you will?
Yeah, I think most people are going to be dressed in, business suit, morning suit. Uniforms are going to be big. We expect the king will wear his uniform as an admiral in the Royal Navy, as opposed to a kind of silk constructed, costume that his grandfather would have worn, for example. And the Queen is going to be in, obviously a very, very stunning gown. But what will be interesting to see is what other peers of the realm who traditionally had a certain kind of dress are going to wear. They're going to be very few in number compared to the last coronation. And what the other royal ladies are going to wear. Are they going to have the glam and glitz of tiaras? And I think a lot of people are really looking for that to give this event that real special royal aura that people really like to see.
Well, if you're not going to break out your tiara for the coronation, I don't know when you're going to wear it, Richard. We got to talk about Harry. He's going to be going solo. Do we know yet, and will we know before next Saturday, what his role will be?
I think we'll get a sense from the order of service when we see it, and I think the reality is he will be a guest. He will be a front row guest of some kind, but he will be a guest. His brother, the Prince of Wales, Prince William, will be paying homage to the king. In 53, you had various ranks of dignitaries do that. I think William is going to be doing that on his own. The other royal dukes, the Duke of York, the Duke of Kent, Duke of Gloucester, the new Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Edward, who was just in Canada this week, by the way, they will probably not be playing any role, and that includes the Duke of Sussex as well. The royal family really is now in two very distinctive groups: the 11 working royals and the non-working royals, which are almost equal in number, and of course include a number of children who could not possibly play more than a role, aside from Prince George, who will be carrying his grandfather's, cape or stole behind him.
And Richard, outside of what is happening at Westminster, in the streets of London, really across the UK, it's going to be one big party, isn't it?
It is. And I think this is one of the things that this coronation is actually bigger on than 53, because 53 was in the post-war years. There's still a large degree of austerity. Of course, there is to that extent now as well because of inflation and the effects of the pandemic, also the impacts of Brexit in the United Kingdom. But you do have this massive concert. We saw some of the names released in the last 24 hours. More and more of the names have been released for that. It's a very eclectic group of people that are performing at that. That will be on the Sunday. You have the big lunch that many communities will be putting on a big table and having community lunch. And you have the National Volunteer Day or Service Day on the Monday, which is actually the bank holiday in the United Kingdom. And as you know, in the United Kingdom, royal occasions like this, every store dresses up, have some kind of special product, which with the king's image on it or the queen's image on it to sell. And so you see flags in the street and you see a real sense of energy and dynamism. And you're certainly seeing that in London and other parts of the UK as we approach this coronation.
Going to be exciting. Richard Berthelsen, thank you so much. Good to see you this morning. The coronation means that flowers are in high demand, and British florists are hoping that the monarch's commitment to sustainability will mean a big boom for their industry.
A bunch of flowers grown in the UK will have 10% of the carbon footprint of flowers, of a bouquet where the flowers were imported.
The UK imports 80% of its flowers and 70% of its plants from the Netherlands, but locally grown blooms have gained popularity since the pandemic. It's sparking hopes the coronation could be the perfect chance to showcase the UK's flowers. And CTV will have special coverage of the coronation, hosted by CTV's chief anchor and senior editor Omar Sachedina. That is happening Saturday, May 6th, beginning at 3 a.m. Eastern on CTV, CTV News Channel, and ctvnews.ca.